My setup has changed. Hopefully my mic sounds a bit better. I've been working on that a little bit. Let's see, Restream looks nice, good. I'm hoping, so I'm using Restream to stream hopefully both to Twitch and YouTube. And the problem may be that it's not doing either of those things. Yes, okay. Twitch seems to be cool. Twitch is cool. Let's not, I guess we will watch and source for that. Let's see if YouTube. So apologize if for some reason you're watching the VOD and you're like, hey, yeah, let's go check Salty's old content and see what he's got going. It does look like I am live on both. Okay. So to actually get to the important stuff, today we are building some stuff. We're actually designing some stuff for my current game. And this is something that the players can come and watch because I'm literally just going to show it all to them immediately. These are options for their ship. We are playing in a sort of spell slingers setting. We're just playing regular 5th edition D&D that I'm sort of homebrewing a little bit to make it a little bit funner and easier. And I'm stealing some stuff, as you can see, from Strongholds and Followers. We're going to be talking about that a good bit. Strongholds and Followers is one of the few supplemental D&D products that I have paid for. And I really do like a lot of the stuff. Not so much some of the more combat stuff. I'm glad that they're actually finishing and doing a separate, actual warfare book. But the Strongholds and Followers stuff has some really nice stuff. And we will get to what we're using there a little bit. But I started working on some of this. They have a ship. My party has a ship. And they need a money sink. They need a bigger money sink than just to go buy some more magical items, right? They want some cool stuff. And I like this idea, right? Even if they didn't ask for it specifically, this is more cool stuff that I can build and do, and I guess stream because I need to stream more. Why not? So I have sort of arbitrarily decided their ship has room for 3 major upgrades, which is what I'm sort of going to be designing today. A bunch of major upgrades. As you can sort of see, I put together I put together a couple and was working on a third earlier. But these are sort of my initial ideas. These I took specifically from Strongholds and Followers, specifically the Keep upgrade, if you are familiar with it. The Keep has some upgrades. I don't know, PDF for me with this has not been working cleanly. But long story short, I split up some of the training options you have on the Keep, which are things like light armor training, medium armor training, heavy armor training. I decided to take all 3 of these, and I made the armory, which is kind of weird. I wanted to separate these two, even though you get both of them in the Keep, but and they cost a lot more than you would normally pay for a Keep. But I'm giving them a ton of money anyway, so that's sort of how you counteract it. But this is going to give a huge beneficial upgrade to them, essentially. Specifically, the first one, I suppose, the weapon armory is going to, if they were to buy it, it's essentially kitting out part of their entire ship with just a huge weapon armory and places to train and practice and just essentially master nearly any standard, simpler martial weapon they will have all access to. So it guarantees benefit. So anyone can essentially get any simple martial weapon here, non-magical, nothing special, nothing silvered. I still make them pay for that. But the optional benefit is something that each player can benefit 1 option each. So they got to kind of decide between each job which one of these benefits they're going to take. So they're kind of playing these bounty hunters, explorers, sort of, mercenary kind of guys, and they're sort of floating around. I'm using the real solar system map, with Earth and Jupiter and stuff. But they mostly are working out of this citadel in the asteroid belt. And in between jobs, I'm guessing they come back for some downtime stuff, do some other things, get some new contracts, and I'm going to let them switch in between. If they decide to make any of these, they might not, but this is just, even if they don't, I'm excited about building this, which is part of the reason why I am streaming this. So the weapon armory gives them access. Anyone can essentially just take and have any weapon they want and take into benefit. But the optional stuff is really cool. So if you've already been looking over this, you've got options like bludgeoning training. When you score a critical hit, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls, saving throws, ability checks to start your next turn. That sounds pretty cool as a start. It's kind of complicated maybe, but we're using Fantasy Grounds, so you can kind of automate some of this stuff and just drop it on people pretty easily, so you don't forget about it. You're running in Roll20 or IRL. But the cool things start coming when you get like finesse training. So like it gives you an extra attack when adjacent enemy damages you with a melee weapon. You can use your reaction essentially to make an attack of opportunity, and it deals normal damage. I'm already reading into piercing training. But yeah, it's a free weapon attack, which is super good for different classes. Like if you've got Great Weapon Master or something, but I don't think works with finesse weapons. So let's scratch that. Let's say you're a rogue. Rogues can get a second sneak attack off of this, essentially, which is really, really good. But you've got another option for piercing training where you deal an extra just 1d6 damage to creatures wearing heavy armor. Yeah, that's super good. Now it's not like natural armor, so if you're like fighting a giant crocodile or something or a Tarrasque, you don't get the extra d6 damage. But if you're going up against fighting some dude in plate mail and you know how to pierce through that armor, this is really good to have. So if they're like expecting to go after like some dude who just walks around in plate mail all the time, they gotta capture him for a bounty, then they can pick this and they can really get in here. But it's only for melee attacks, I think, right? No, I think as stated from directly from Strongholds and Followers, do an extra 1d6 of creatures wearing heavy armor. It's perfect. Retraining is cool as well. You can move the target 5 feet if you're using a reach weapon. So like for those who are doing Polearm Master and Halberd, this is just another super cool thing that you just move people around. We're not using flanking rules, so it's not as beneficial, but it's nice. All right, I'm gonna get you out of range so my buddy can run away. One of the other party members. Shield training probably not gonna be taken, but if you make a weapon attack, you can push someone 5 feet. More movement stuff. Nice to have. Something I think all fighters should have is just options for movement. A lot of the Battle Master stuff I think should be core to the fighter class, but it's not. Slashing training, you deal just an extra d6 damage to light, natural, or no armor. So it's another really nice thing. If you guys can just equip all slashing weapons if you know you're gonna go up against like a thieves guild or something, or go out hunting monsters or something that have natural armor. You can just grab yourselves a bunch of swords, probably long swords, maybe some scimitars, and just deal some extra slashing damage. Really, really good. And then versatile training is also really good. Anything that gives you +1 AC. So if you're using like a long sword, if you're using a war hammer, you're using it in 2 hands without the shield, you can get that +1 AC by taking this training instead, which can be really, really good. Specifically, that might be really helpful because we have a cleric, a Warforged cleric, who's got like 22 natural AC or something between all his stuff. And I mean, you can afford to give up one AC from your shield or whatever. You drop down to 21 if you can get an extra, essentially an average of extra 1 damage on all your hits. That might be worth it. But similar things for the armory, which is kind of, I don't know. There's probably a better name for that than an armory. It's probably just called an armory. But I wanted to separate these two because I felt like giving them both, and even in a huge price point like 10,000 GP, is a lot. Especially because armory, you get access to all types of armor. So if all of them wanted to fit themselves up with full plate, they could do it, which is completely fine because they're paying 10,000 gold, right? They should be able to do that on top of all this extra stuff that they've done as well, or that they're going to get, which is mostly advantage on dexterity checks for wearing light armor. Not crazy. You can generally get advantage on dexterity checks in a multitude of different ways. That's not super great. Medium armor training, extra 5 feet of movement that doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. That, if you're playing smart, can be really, really good. Because if you don't want to go for a full feat, like a lot of these ideas I'm going to put into here are going to be just taken and stolen from feats. So yeah, that's really good. So if you don't want to go take a full feat, and the armory, you've already got it. That is super good to take. Heavy armor training is probably the best one because this is just stolen from another feat. In the Strongholds and Followers, it is different. It is you learn to present your heaviest armor thing, range attacks at disadvantage against you as crossbow bolts. That's hard to code in Fantasy Grounds to automatically do. So what I did instead is I just took the feat, that the heavy armor master feat, and I think I reduced it. I think it's naturally reduces damage by 3, and I just dropped it to 2. So it's not quite as good as the actual feat. You still can have the feat as well. I didn't want to be as good, essentially because you could get not free plate, but you can get plate mail as much as you need. but I feel like this is pretty good since the entire party could be benefiting from this. So it's like 4 feats essentially if you really look at it that way, which is why this price point I think is really high, and justifiably so. But the next one I'm working on, the study, is one of the options. I was beginning to write this, and this one actually was partially from Strongholds and Followers, and partially from another campaign I was using many of the rules from. The tower, I was saying this was some of my optional rules I had for studying spells and experimental spells and stuff. But the inventing a new spell is from Strongholds and Followers, which if the PDF will load properly, there's the tower. Inventing new spells is some of the options. They're definitely not as cool as some of the keep options, but I did in myself come up with. I think I came with this myself. I don't want to say for sure I came up with this myself, but I had an idea of this, and I did use it once. But a character who studies at the tower could study one spell and cast it at 1 level higher, which was probably a bad idea because essentially you should just take experimental spell instead. Although technically, well, actually no, that doesn't sound bad. Now that I rethink about it, essentially you could study the fireball spell, and every time you cast the fireball spell, you cast it at 3rd level, it deals 4th level damage. Right? That's essentially what it does for still using the lower slot. That's what I think this is for. Now that makes more sense. Now that seems more reasonable compared to experimental spell, which your character studies a spell 1 level higher than their max level they can cast, add it to their spell list, and then they can cast it once, essentially once between. Originally it was long rest, which is like a week stay at home, but for our pirate campaign that'll be once per job essentially, which I think is good. I like this kind of abilities. Like you get this, and you need to like utilize this in your most ideal situation. Because I think in the original this Anvil campaign that I've been running a good while ago now, like a year or two, I want to say, like a cleric used it great for destructive wrath. Just picked up a higher level spell, which doesn't kind of in some ways, if you think about it too hard, doesn't make sense. Because why would a cleric study at a tower to learn a higher level spell? Right? They're a religious person. They get their spells from their god and stuff. But I didn't want to worry about that too much, right? If the wizard has access to it, a cleric and a paladin and a ranger should. Even half-casters, even though that is very, very strong. I didn't want to limit it too much. I didn't think it would be that game-breaking because it's already a game-breaking thing. Why not let it be game-breaking for everyone and not just, the people who take it? But yeah, we're gonna end up building this. So this is the boring part where I actually have to type stuff out. But let's see. So I gotta kind of word all these to be like, this is something that would be on their ship. So this is why it's a study and not an actual tower, of course. So their Spelljammer ship, the Skybinder Spelljammer. I always mix up what it is, but their Spelljammer ship is do I have a streamer mode on Discord? I think I do. Yes, I do. I do have streamer mode on. Good. Some of my friends playing might show up, but otherwise I'm streaming to absolutely no one, which is okay. That will alleviate itself eventually. So the study is filled to the brim with books of history and the arcane, as well as I don't know how to spell material. And materials for casting. I'm gonna say focus, but I think a character should still have to buy their focus for this. There's those materials for casting, and all right. Now I don't know how to spell experimenting. I probably do. That's an extra N in there, probably just because I'm bad at typing. Experimenting. That's close enough. That's just a sort of initial description, just like the armory and stuff, where it's full of normal armors, complete with obstacles and training courses to essentially justify how they can get this special training. Oh, I should probably mention that I'm not actually. We're not doing any ship-to-ship combat, so I'm completely avoiding anything that would benefit ship-to-ship combat here. Which, even though I feel like it's justified, and that would be something that would happen in the game, I didn't want this campaign to be focused at all around that, or them to waste any money trying to do that when I would only use it a handful of sparing times. It was definitely not going to be a focus of the campaign. Characters and character combat was going to be. So I just decided we're not doing any of that ship combat stuff. So this is going to be, I'm just building a bunch of things that will help the guys out in combat or whatever other situation they can use this stuff in. So let's see, guaranteed benefits. Does that have a comma there? What did I use for these other? I should choose the same. I should use the same grammar for all of this. So guaranteed benefits. I kind of don't. I kind of want to say gives access to all spell components of spells you are currently able to cast. Which for 10,000 GP, if for a 5th level character, right, that is more than justifiable, right? You know, there's nothing like, yeah, okay, you could you essentially have unlimited pearls for Revivify or whatever, you know. But I mean, a pearl for Revivify is 300 gold versus the 10,000 you're paying to get this on top of the other benefits, right? But I mean, if you've got 10,000 gold, right? How it's almost tedious. It's probably tedious to go buy a 300 GP pearl, right? At that point, when you have that much money, it's not worth the effort to make them try and find a pearl like that, right? Or at least I'm not worried about it being difficult for them to find a pearl. So guaranteed benefits. Access to all. I need another L. I need another C. That's an S. I really don't know how to spell. I apologize. Access to all. Spell component. That's not how you spell components. Oh well, I'll do the fixing later. Notepad is not great for all the spell checking. Is there really no spell checking? I know format I could do. No, there's no spell checking. Darn. Really nice if Notepad Word has it. But if regular Notepad had it, that'd be even better. Access to all spell components. At the player character. To cast. So I do want to, you know, limit that to all spell components of the players. The players. There we go. I do need to do at least components spelled right. I don't know. But yeah, if I don't want them to just have access to, you know, crazy high end stuff, because I know there's like 10,000 GP cost spell components from really high end spells. So that's why I limit it to whatever level that the characters currently are, because they're currently level 6, right? I'm giving them tons of money for level 6. This campaign's not going to go on forever, right? So I feel fine giving them all this money because I want them to have magical items. They're literally living in space with a giant space, you know, ship, you know, with literally Spelljammer. So I feel like giving them crazy magical items, crazy cool abilities and stuff is sort of fit for the atmosphere and the setting of the game. So crazy stuff like that, you know. So I'm giving them tons of money so they can have all the crazy stuff that they want. Let's see, guaranteed benefits. That seems good, except for the spelling, which I'll worry about later. Just copy and paste, because I really can't type on stream to save my life. Optional benefits. I guess I should have copied the whole thing. That, and then we are grabbing stuff, specifically these two. Copy and paste. So the inventing a new spell, I guess I will grab as well. I'm going to put that below these, because that's really not the main one that the players are probably going to want to use, because definitely being able to grab a higher level spell is incredibly powerful. And more likely what they're going to do. But even getting something like a higher level hold person, right? It's great for bounty hunters, because now you can grab 2 people at the same time. for a lower spell level than you have, which is insanely good. I think I can leave it at that, right? These are pretty short and simple. This one's pretty short and simple. That's the study done. And I guess we're going to try and fill out the temple. What do I want to call something that's not a temple, but on a ship? The shrine, maybe? A shrine. I guess put the same cost. Keep things consistent, right? I'm not a super great designer at this stuff, right? So consistency is important if you're not actually good at something. You want to be at least consistent at how bad you are at it. But yes, you want a little shrine. Hmm. Worship to the gods. How did I miss a space? So that's not good. Dedicated place of worship to the gods. Um, right. The are closer to them or feel closer to them. Hmm. I know. I should be designing stuff instead of figuring out how to write this, how to English better. But a dedicated place of worship to the gods, where the devoted um can tap into their tap into their powers easier and safer. I don't know if there's any inherent danger in my setting or even the standard D&D setting to messing with gods and stuff and trying to use their power. Maybe there is. I think we can leave it at that, right? I need to spend less time typing and more time actually doing stuff. So I don't even know how that's if that's spelled right. Guaranteed benefits. So I think I'm gonna have it separate from the study, where because this is already giving access to all spell components, right? This study here. So I want to make this different. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, you still have access to all spell components, right? I want this to be different. And what do I want this to be? Right? I didn't have anything like this designed of the temple stuff because this is again strongholds and followers. Let's find temple. Let's find the temple. There it is. Concordance, which is the like summoning and stuff that Matt Koval has done, summoning servitors and stuff, which I will allow. And then I think there's the what was the other option? The ceremonial spells. That was something I came up with. I wanted to try out. You take a day to cast a spell of a higher level and then cast 2 levels higher for full casters, which is essentially like, hey, do you need access to reincarnate, but you're only 9th level? Well, here you go. You spent 10,000 gold. You can do it, right? Or hey, do you need scrying, but you're not what scrying's 5th level, right? You need scrying, but you're only 6th level, which could be something that would come up in this campaign. That's you can if you spend a whole day to cast that one spell, you can do it, right? And right, this can only be cast once per job, right? So they can only do it once. They can't just continuously cast scrying and get a bunch of returns on it. Let's see. It's probably just asking. It's probably reminding me, hey, you just went live. Well, I know I went live. Mr. Google Computer Phono dude and Twitch. I don't think we're going to use these extra benefits down here from all the cool stuff that individual classes get. That'd be cool, but it's a little too much for I think what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to keep it more simplified this time. What was I doing? What was I doing? Guaranteed benefits. Hmm. That's a good one. I'm not sure exactly what I'll put in here. Let's skip it for now, and I will put in the optional benefits. Should I separate these? I separated these, so I should probably group these together, and they will look better once I actually format these properly, not in Notepad. And I'll make these more stand out, because for now this is just shitty terrible notes of a shitty terrible DM. Let's see. The thing is, the temple thing is sort of designed that only, you know, religious characters can sort of summon a servitor from their god or whatever to help them. Same with the ceremonial spells, right? Kind of makes more sense that only the religious characters, you know, the cleric, the paladin, can use them. But I don't know. I guess I will find out whether that's good or bad or not. Read once. Once per job. You gotta change that, right? I'm gonna change this. DM. All right, that's just a little thing. So character invokes a ritual, summons a servant to aid them. The servitor is of the same alignment as the summoner and follows their command. The character decides what type of servant they wish to summon. So I want to give the character and the player an option to, you know, decide what they want, and then I'm going to decide what actual creature that is and its stats and all its abilities, more so based off its level, right? Because I don't want this. I'm not going to give them a planetar, right? Obviously, I'm not going to give them anything crazy. Um, let's see, ceremonial spell while the temple is at. Praying at a shrine. At the shrine, a character may take a day to cast a spell of higher level than they can cast. I think the main point here is about the praying part, and that's what is sort of limiting. You can't just have a wizard cast, you know, a 2-tier higher spell, right? Something like that. This has got to be more of a cleric-y sort of thing. And I kind of stipulated that, yeah, that a paladin couldn't like grab a 5th level spell when they're only like 9th level, right? They can't grab super high stuff. Once per job becomes additional costs. Okay, yeah, that doesn't seem too bad. Go back to this guarantees benefit thing. Let's go back to stronghold followers. See if we can pick up on something cool that this gives, aside from the servitor. Let's see. The establishment. See, the shrine doesn't really feel as strong as maybe the study. They're very similar. This ritual thing can be strong. Summoning an entire other character is also strong. But it doesn't have like a nice, cool guaranteed benefit like, oh yeah, access to all spell components. Or, you know, access to any piece of armor that they could have infinitely, or any mundane, you know, weapon that they need normally. I feel like I should give a really good guaranteed benefit, but I don't know what it is that's sort of, you know, religious, you know, cleric-y sort of themed, right? Or even warlock themed, like a warlock can have a shrine to something or some god. Kind of stumped. I'm kind of stumped. Let's come back to that. Because I think that's where I'm going to end it with sort of taking from the stronghold and follower stuff. That's all what I used for my campaign here. Let's close it out, and I'm pulling up the feats. This is a list of feats. This is on 5e tools, which is a great tool for referencing stuff, and gives you all sorts of ways to sort it and organize things. And I like it, but my idea was the reason I really sort of stumbled on the idea of like taking feats and then making them one of these is the new Tasha stuff. What is it? Is it chef? Chef. So I thought this was a good idea to sort of take some inspiration from. So essentially, we're gonna make a Chef's. Chef's Kitchen. I guess we'll leave it at the same price for now. The capitalized GP and all the others. I'm gonna keep formatting similar. No, they were lowercase. GP. Let's see. How would I describe this chef's kitchen? I gotta justify the cost, right? And give it, an exorbitant and incredible description. I mean, part of the cost of the chef's kitchen is obviously hiring like a really really good chef, right? Someone who would have essentially this feat or better, right? Um, to give them temporary health and stuff. Immaculate. That's not how you spell immaculate. I know. I don't. I could Google it right now, but it'd be a waste of time. All of the 10 seconds it would take. Immaculate. Full of greedy. An immaculate kitchen full of premium. I feel like premium is wrong. I feel like ingredients is wrong too. Ingredients, yes. Okay, I think I got ingredients right. So proud of myself spelling something properly for once. Immaculate kitchen full of premium ingredients. And staff by I should name it something cooler than Chef's Kitchen if it's like, yeah. I want to name it Hell's Kitchen, even though that's like the first thing my head jumped to is just name it Hell's Kitchen after Gordon Ramsay's show. Gourmet. I don't know how to spell gourmet. Not even close. Gourmet. Gourmet. Okay, gourmet kitchen. Immaculate. All right, listen. I spelled it right, didn't I? IMACULATE. I am super impressed, but that looks like it's spelled wrong. Maybe just because of the font or something. Staffed by a renowned chef. I don't know how to spell renowned. RENOUWND. I don't know how to spell anything. I spelled it right the first time. REN. A renowned chef. To the cruise. Caters is two T's. Caters, no. That's cars. Caters. CAT or IG. Catering. No, that's it. That's gotta be cater. It's gotta be caters. Caters to the cruise. You and I. Unique. Crap. I forget unique tastes. Every time I go live, my brain goes dead. Actually, my brain's dead all the time. I shouldn't say that. My brain is just dead all the time. Caters to the crew's unique tastes. And I don't know. Fortifies their diets. Pretty sure I spelled fortifies right. I didn't spell there right, even though I definitely know how to spell there correctly. That's probably full of of spelling errors, and I just don't even know, or I think I'm right and I'm wrong. Yeah. So, is there a guaranteed benefit from this? This one I might not even give that because it's got such a good normal uh thing. Yeah, because I'm gonna use both of these. I think these are kind of good, except I'm gonna expand on this based off of that. So let's see. Uh, Beasts. How do I hit an S twice? Should put a comma here. I'm terrible at English and grammar and how to organize this stuff. I should do this way better. Um, Beasts, which are grand meals, perfectly prepared, perfectly prepared. Exotic and um buying ingredients. Grand meals, perfectly prepared with exotic and fortifying ingredients. Um, hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Normal. Should I put it in the same tab? I'm having so much indecisiveness about how to organize this. That's right. When I should be able to I should be able to fill that out later and figure this out. Grand meals perfectly prepared with exotic and fortifying ingredients. Um, hmm. Mm-hmm. Transfer to exotic fortified ingredients. Because I want to separate. So here's my idea for it. Let me talk through this, and maybe this will help. My idea is that you're gonna have feasts, right? You've already paid the 10,000 GP, so you can just have a normal feast every time you have a long rest on the ship, and you'll get sort of the same benefit as the actual cook thing. So I think I'll make it a D6 of hit points for every character there. So everyone who takes a long rest on the ship, just for a regular feast meal, they will get a D6. Yeah, they'll get like a D6. Well, should it be a D6 or should I base it off of their? Should I give like a modifier based off of their level or something? Hmm. I mean, this is only a D6 for the actual chef feat. So yeah, I think I will make it a D6. So anyone who takes like sort of the base level, just normal feast that doesn't cost anything extra, you can get a D6 of temporary hit points. And the crew can spend additional money to get additional D6s for like a better feast, right? You buy extra ingredients, like you bought. I'm thinking like 500 GP for another D6 of temporary hit points. Which might be a lot. But the thing is, I don't want to sit at like 200 GP and then just be like, okay, we'll spend 1,000 gold just to get 5d6 of temporary hit points, right? I don't want to spend that much money, even though, I mean, it's kind of reasonable compared to like, oh, I'm gonna buy a healing potion, right? Temporary hit points is better than a healing potion in some regards. Um, well, hmm, I don't know. Maybe not exclusively like that. Hmm. We'll make it 300 gold. We'll make it 300 gold for each D6. Taking a long. And eating. And I guess participating the participate in the fist. The fist in the feast. How much I should be participating in the feast? Well, give 1d6 of temp. Temporary hit points. Oh, I spelled temporary. How do you spell it? Man, why does everything I type out look wrong when I type it? That it's incorrect. Is this like another form of dyslexia or something, or whatever that thing is that mixes up letters and words and stuff? Fine. Expensive ingredients. You get it's 2Ds, right? Additional D6s at rate of 300 GP each. Let me think about this. So I wanted it to be 300 GP. I was thinking of 500 originally because I generally am giving the crew thousands of gold for each of this, and they shouldn't be spending all of it on this, right? But let's say they spend 900. They spend 900 gold on this. That's a D6 plus 4 more. 46s is an average of what? The average of a D6 is a 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. It's an average of 16 hit points. I think it's like technically a little less. It's like 14 technically, but it's average of 14 hit points. Yeah, you can get 14 hit points for everyone, which is for 4 characters for the 4 main players on top of if they wanted to take any NPC along with them. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at 5 because that is a lot of hit points just be handed out for dirt cheap. And that seems fairly reasonable. Um, I don't want to take everything from the chef, but I do like uh I do like that extra like leftovers. So there's feasts and leftovers. Okay. I don't know if that's leftovers spell right. I talk more about my bad spelling than actually designing this stuff. Probably more because I need time to think about this. So leftovers. After a feast. Uh hmm. Each each character can take. Future use for future eating. Leftovers to use. Short rest. To allowing the character to, let's say, heal and an additional hit die, and that's pretty good. So that's like a free hit die for everyone essentially, which is really good. But I mean, they're spending 10,000 GP for it, so right. This all sounds like crazy, really good stuff. But these are like they're gonna buy one of these maybe in the next couple sessions, and they should be getting a really good thing. I kind of limited it to 3 because like that's kind of not so much of a mechanical thing to me to hold them back from getting everything, but more so to be like, yeah, you guys only have a ship with this much room, so this is all you have the room for, right? I was gonna say 2, but 3, they might get enough for 3. It'd be kind of cool to have both the armories and the kitchen or something, or they can't have all the best stuff, but they can pick and choose what they want. This is just generally really good. Each character can take leftovers to use later short rest. At, I should say, the next short rest, allowing the character to heal in addition to die. Because I don't want them to like stack up leftovers somehow, right? That would be a weird thing. Just have extra leftovers. I kind of want this to be also after feast. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I was gonna say after like a feast where they spend extra money for D6s, they only get this, but I don't know. There's no. I mean, because that's really good. I'll just change it to D6. Image. I feel like everything I type is spelled wrong. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. Let me look at something that says damage. Flames, staggers, damage. Yeah, see, that is wrong. Yeah, that does actually look right. So that's the gourmet kitchen. And I think that's all I really need for that. So that's done. Let's section that off. All right, there's some other cool things in here. What are the cool things get them cool downside benefits? So a lot of these cool feats, like I could turn into like benefits for the armory, for either of the armories, right? And maybe I will do that later, but I feel like I'm just gonna grab some other unique stuff. A lot of this is combat stuff. And I wish there was more of this, the feast or the chef stuff. To give sort of benefits during short rests and long rests and buffs and stuff. Healer, let's see. Healing for surgeons. I can't do much with healer, right? Okay. If I want to design if I want a surgeon on the ship to do something cool that is somehow worth 10,000 GP, what would that be, right? Because if they come back to the ship, they get a long rest that heals everything. Heals everything. There's no like long-term damage that they're gonna take, right? So having like a surgeon thing doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they just go back to the ship and take the rest if they're a ship, right? Because I've already told them that there's no threat of them getting into a ship-to-ship combat, right? Inspiring leader would be nice. It's more temp HP, but it's kind of stepping on the gourmet kitchen's toes. So, a lot of these things could be like individual crew members. Like I have a crew member who can speak essentially any language that they have. So essentially, no one would need linguists or anything. I mean, maybe that's what I leave it at for now. I mean, I've only been streaming for like less than an hour now, but I guess I just sat down and typed out a few things just to talk about them. None of them showed up. Maybe that's because I don't show up as actually live on Discord or anything, which is kind of that's one thing I'm gonna have to fix with this. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else specifically. I guess it was just Chef that I wanted to grab from. I guess there's no surgeon or anything that I can wait, delete something? No. Delete what I wanted to delete. That's not a terrible list of options, right? Weapon armory, armor armory, study, shrine, and gourmet kitchen. I'm limiting them to 3 options. And I would definitely be open to other suggestions. Um, I would ask like chat if they had suggestions, but no one's in chat, of course. And if anyone actually is watching this in the VOD in the future, you're awesome. But I've probably already finished this campaign a long ago. I don't know. Suggest it anyway. Maybe you've got some super cool idea that I haven't stumbled across yet. Why not? But aside from that, I guess I just need to stream more. Hopefully, I will. That's the plan. I'm playing a lot of other games with my friends, so I probably should be streaming games and not D&D building stuff. Because D&D building stuff is sometimes tedious and hard to do consistently, unless I just am gonna brute force build a campaign consistently, which I need to get back to. I do need to build just some random campaign. But yeah, that was pretty good. Thanks for watching. I hope you watch.